Have you ever felt stuck in your business? Like no matter how hard you try, you're just not getting where you want to be. What if I told you that the secret isn't working harder, but in shifting how you think? In this episode, I'm going to dive into the power of a simple 3-letter word, yet. This simple word can transform frustration into possibility and helps you reframe your journey to success. Tune in to learn how you can embrace the yet mindset, celebrate your small wins, and keep moving forward. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Let's dive in. Are you that driven entrepreneur who believes that working harder holds the key to your dreams? Are you drowning in the day-to-day tasks, wishing you had more time to strategize and cast the vision for your business growth? Hi, I'm Donna Dubé, your guide on this entrepreneurial journey. I've walked in your worn-out shoes, burning the midnight oil, convinced that sheer hard work was the secret to success. Just one more email, one more task, until I found myself on a one-way track to burnout. But here's the twist in the tale. I discovered that success isn't just about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about being intentional with our time. It's about steering our ship with focus, because no team, system, or automation can outperform a lack of direction. In this podcast, I'm sharing with you all the strategies for business growth that it took me years to learn. If you're ready to step out of the daily overwhelm so you can amplify your profits, then I'm ready to teach you. I believe the only limit to your business growth is the one you set for yourself. Go grab a notebook, warm up that cup of tea, and let's do this. Hello and welcome back, small business owners. So happy you're here. Today, I want to talk about a little 3-letter word that can make such a difference about the way we think about things. And that word is yet. Y-E-T. Think about this. How many times have you said to yourself, I'm not there yet? Or my business isn't where I want it to be yet. Maybe you found yourself thinking, I haven't hit my income goals yet. That one little word, yet, is very powerful. It takes what feels like a dead end and actually transforms it into a work in progress. It flips frustration into possibility. And when you shift from focusing on what hasn't happened to what could happen, that's where transformation happens. You see, it's so easy to get caught up in the gap between where we are and where we want to be. You know, when you feel like you're miles away from the business success that you've been working so hard for, or when those income goals seem like they're moving further away, no matter how much effort you put in. That gap can sometimes feel massive, insurmountable at times. But here's the thing, you are not stuck. You are just in the middle of your journey. I remember when I was first starting out, I had this vision of how my business would look. The revenue, the clients, the recognition, the freedom. And I can't tell you how many times I'd get frustrated and say, it's just not happening for me. I'd start looking at others and see they have that success and it just wasn't happening for me. But when I started adding the word yet to those statements, everything shifted. It wasn't, it's not happening for me. It became, it's not happening for me yet. That simple shift took the weight off my shoulders because it reminded me that I was still in progress, not at a dead end. The power of yet reminds us that just because we aren't there now doesn't mean we won't get there. It's like a gentle, firm reminder that growth, success, and progress are all on the horizon, even if you can't see the full view yet. Now, see how I threw that in there? Think about the last time you caught yourself saying things like, I'm not good at this, or I can't figure this out. or I'm not successful enough. Those statements, they sound pretty final, right? Like you've already decided that there's no way forward. But what if you added yet to the end of each of those thoughts? I'm not good at this yet. I can't figure this out yet. I'm not where I want to be yet. All of a sudden, that door is open. It's not shut. You've opened it to possibilities, to growth, and to progress. I want to share with you this example. A friend of mine runs a small marketing agency, and she was really struggling to land bigger clients. She'd been stuck in this cycle of working with smaller, more inconsistent projects, and that didn't allow her to grow. And every time we talked, she'd say, I'm just not good at selling to larger companies. It's just not for me. But when she added starting yet to those statements, it changed her mindset. She started saying, I'm not good at selling to larger companies yet. And what that did was create space for her to learn and grow. It made room for the possibility that she could get better. And you know what? Within about 6 months or so, she landed her first big corporate client. Was it an overnight success? No. But it was her willingness to stay in the game that made the difference. So I want to share with you how you can tap into the power of yet in your own life and business. So first up, you got to shift your mindset. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't or I'm not, I want you to take a breath. Recognize that you're in the middle of the process. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're moving in the right direction. It's easy to feel discouraged when you focus only on what hasn't happened. But remind yourself that you're still growing and that the narrative still has room for change. The story isn't over. Number 2 is to celebrate the small wins. It's easy to get tunnel vision, I know, when it comes to our big, shiny goals, and we sometimes overlook the small victories that happen along the way. But each tiny step matters. Every time you take action, even if it's minor, it's progress. One of my favorite things to do is to keep a little win journal where I just jot down small wins. Whether it's an email I've been procrastinating on, or a new client inquiry, or when you start stacking up these small wins, you realize how far you've come, even when that big goal still feels out of reach. And number 3, keep learning and growing. The yet mindset is all about embracing the fact that you don't have to have all the answers right now, but you can get them. If you're not good at something, it doesn't mean you'll never be. It just means you haven't mastered it yet. For me, this really made a difference when it came to understanding the financial side of my business. I tried to avoid this a little bit at the beginning like a plague because I just wasn't sure that I knew enough about bookkeeping and finances for a business. But once I allowed myself to learn and stay curious, I got better. And now I actually enjoy diving into the numbers because I know it's part of becoming the CEO that I want to be. Number 4 is being patient with ourselves. Look, just like you, I'm sure there are times when you wish success would just happen overnight, right? But the reality is, success is built over time through consistent effort, learning, and resilience. And on those days when it feels like you're not moving forward, I want you to remind yourself that progress is still happening, even if it's not obvious. You might not hit every goal today, tomorrow, or even next month, but that doesn't mean you won't get there. You're still on your way, even if you can't see all the pieces fitting together right now. So give yourself some grace and be patient with yourself. And last one here, second last one, I'm going to add a bonus one. Set realistic timelines for your yet. Sometimes we put these unrealistic timelines on our goals, and that's when discouragement can set in so quickly. We think, I should have 6 figures by now, or I should have launched this product months ago. Have you ever heard yourself saying things like that? The pressure we put on ourselves to make it quickly often leads to frustration. But here's the thing, every business, every path, every person's journey looks different. It might take you a little longer to reach certain milestones, and that's okay. Reaching your goals is not about speed, it's about consistency and growth. So when you're thinking about your yet, give yourself grace with the timeline. I remember working with a business owner who had set this rigid 1-year timeline to hit $200,000 in revenue. But of course, as we moved through that year, she realized she was learning so much about her audience, her offers, and her market that her original plan needed to be shifted. And by giving herself permission to adjust the timeline without seeing it as a failure, she ultimately hit that revenue goal. It just happened in a year 2 instead of in year 1. But that's still success. And my bonus is surround yourself with people who believe in your yet. And this one's huge. Who you surround yourself with has a massive impact on how you see your progress and your potential. So are you around people who are constantly negative or doubting your ability to succeed? Or the flip side, are you surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, who challenge you to grow and remind you of what's possible? Finding a supportive community, whether that's other business owners, mentors, or even friends, can make all the difference in helping you stay focused on your yet. I've personally found that being part of a group has been one of the most powerful things I've done for my business. When I'm feeling stuck or discouraged, they remind me of how far I've come and help me see the possibilities ahead. They push me to think bigger and to remind me that my yet is closer than I think. I know one of the biggest blocks to success for a lot of us is this underlying fear of failure. But here's the truth. Failure is part of the process. When we start believing that, it makes it so much easier. When something doesn't work out the way we planned, it doesn't mean we're not cut out for business or that we'll never succeed. It just means we haven't hit our yet. So I want you to start looking at each setback as a learning opportunity, a chance to get one step closer to figuring out what works for you. I remember launching a product a few years ago that honestly completely flopped. And of course, I didn't have the right mindset, so I was devastated. It was a huge setback for me, and I really questioned if I was on the right path. But instead of giving up, I took it as a chance to learn. What didn't resonate? What needed to change? I reworked the offer, the messaging, and I tried again. Think of these as experiments, right? I'm going to experiment with this and see how it goes. And the second time around, it was a success. So that flop wasn't the end of the road. It was just, a little detour to my yet. So here's the thing I want you to remember. You are capable of far more than you think. You just haven't hit your yet. But that doesn't mean it's not coming. I want you to keep going, keep showing up, and keep believing in what's possible for you. Your yet is just around the corner. Alrighty, take care. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for joining me on this episode of CEO Amplify. I appreciate you being part of our thriving community of ambitious business owners. If you enjoyed today's episode, I kindly ask you to share this podcast with a friend and take a hot minute to rate and leave a review. It would mean the world to me. Your feedback helps me reach more people and continue providing valuable content. Thanks so much for your support. Keep shining, and we'll catch you on the next episode.